Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm going to share my screen and I'll give you the 30-second on who I am. I'm the CEO of a company called World Data. Just so you know, World Data is based down in South Florida, about a 110-person organization, been around about 40 years. We do B2B and B2C demand generation programs for many of the largest companies in the country. We work with agencies, we work with clients directly in almost every industry. And while we work in lots of different channels, one of the biggest channels we work in is in the email space. We don't own any data, and I'm not an email platform. I'm not Marketo, I'm not Eloqua, I'm not MailChimp. We work with all of them. And on behalf of our clients, we transmit about 6 billion email messages annually, running acquisition marketing programs, all sorts of different stuff. So we do a lot in the email space, and the division of my company is our research group, and also a division of our company is subjectline.com, which some of you may know. Subjectline.com is the #1 site for checking your subject lines. We've checked 11 million subject lines. It's a free tool. So that's where our data comes from. I'm going to rip through a lot of stuff. The goal of this is for at the end of this, here you have some new test ideas, and all the information that I go through is up to the moment. I don't like when you go to these sessions about email marketing and they tell you stuff from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, last year. None of that is useful. We're going to talk about today, and all the data, all the stats, all the information is going to be about what's going on right now. So with that, I'm going to jump in. I know I talk pretty quick. I'll make sure you guys get the slides. I think we're recording this, so we are going to make it happen. So first off, the world has changed a lot. I don't have to tell anybody, the last 15 months have been a roller coaster. And for marketers, it's been a big roller coaster. And for marketers that do email, it's been the craziest roller coaster. Why? When the pandemic first hit, okay, the one channel that really took off in terms of performance was email, because everybody was communicating out to their database saying, hey, we're closed, we're open, we're washing our hands, we're not washing our hands. This is what's happening, B2B and B2C. And then following that period of time, as we head into last summer, email was doing phenomenal because everyone was glued to their computers and their phones, right? That's all we were doing at night, during the day, remote working, this, that, or whatever. We were stuck in our house. So email had this performance that was into the stratosphere. Well, what's happened in the last 30 days? And this is not political. I don't care if you do go out or you don't go out. It doesn't matter to me. The reality of it is, as a country, we are getting out more. And as we're getting out more, across the board, we're seeing that everything is either flat or down in terms of performance. Your email metrics, your open rates and your click rates and your response rates from email are down the last 30 days. So a lot of our clients saying, oh my God, what's happening? Are we in a blacklist? Or are we getting filtered? Are we going to spam? Do we have a bad subject line? No. What's happening is we all got a little bit more of a life, and we're sick of going like this all day long, right? So performance is now where it was pre-pandemic, which is fine. It just means that we need to roll up our sleeves and do our job a little bit better. So what do we got to do now, right, to get our open rates high? And let's just all make sure we're on the same page. An open rate is really simple. This: you have 100,000 names in your database, you hit send, you have a 20% open rate. That means 20,000 out of the 100,000 opened it up. We got to get those open rates high, because the more people that open up your email are the more people that will respond. So what are the things literally right now that are working? So let's talk about some things that drive me nuts. Whenever you attend other marketing sessions about email marketing, they tell you things, and they say things like, oh, avoid spammy words. You're going to go into the junk folder and the spam folder. Avoid special characters in the subject line. Don't capitalize. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't say the word free. You're going to go into the junk folder. This is the bane of my existence. I can't take it. I've been doing email for over 20 years, and I will tell you that most of the people that teach best practice information about email are dealing with information from 10 years ago. They're lazy, and they're not updating what's going on. Why do I say all this? It sounds a little bit rude. It is rude because I'm angry, because here's what's happening. 10 to 15 years ago, about 15 years ago, email really took off as a channel, blew up, did great, right? Everything was doing phenomenal. So as marketers were sending out more email, what else worked? Right? The bad guys are like, wait a minute, email works? Cool. I'm going to send out Viagra offers. I'm going to send out pornography. I'm going to send out all this stuff. And back then, we were using AOL and Earthlink and Lycos and Alta Vista and all these old school platforms. Well, back then, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, The only way to filter email to decide what was junk and what was not, to make sure you weren't getting all those bad stuff, was based on content. What was in your subject line? Was it capitalization? Was there a special character? Was there a bad word like free? And they would look at the content and they would filter out that stuff. So all these guys who teach all this best practice nonsense are like, don't use these words, don't do these things, bad. Well, guess what? In the last 5 years, email's changed a lot. You don't go in the junk folder, you don't go in the spam folder because of the content of your emails, because of what you write or what you exclamation point or this, that, or whatever. You go in the junk folder because of the sending reputation of the IP address and the domain that you're delivering from. So when people tell you that you can't do all the things that you see on the screen, it's a myth, it's a lie. In reality, the ironic part about all of these tactics is that the very things that you read about that they say you can't do that'll send you to the junk folder are the very things today, right now, that'll increase your open rate. So for example, if you capitalize in the subject line, B2B, on average, your open rate goes up 18%. B2C, 14%. If you use an exclamation point in the subject line, okay, open rate, 12 to 11% increase. An emoji in the subject line, 18 to 24%. You put actual numbers, which is, of course, a big no-no, actually increases your open rate 19 to 21%. And the greatest word of all time, free, you put that in your subject line, a 31 to 37% lift. So not only do you not get dinged in the negative aspect, you actually will see an increase. And if you don't believe me, after the session's over, go back to your inbox and all those myths that you think you can't do, you will see every major marketer doing them, right? Why? Because it works. Now, by the way, all my examples are examples, very recent examples. So here's an email I got from Wayfair. Their entire subject line is capitalized. They're using these crazy special characters with arrows. Do you think they don't know what they're doing? Email is what a primary channel for Wayfair. They're not doing this by accident. How about Facebook? This is Facebook on the B2B side promoting their services. Does Facebook know anything about data? Do you know anything about performance? Maybe a little bit, right? Why are they capitalizing? Why are they using brackets in their subject line? What do they know? They know it works. They also know you're not going to get filtered for doing it, right? So when you hear all this stuff, it drives me bananas. It drives me bananas. Oh, you can't put numbers in your subject line? It's not true. And it's what actually lifts the open rates higher, right? So when you see all these companies doing it, there's a reason they're doing it. They're not doing it because it doesn't work. They're doing it because it does work, right? So when you go back to your inbox, you'll see all this. And this, you'll say, okay, this guy, crazy guy, Jay, he talked a lot. He's all over the place. The name of the game for email is get my email opened. The way you get your email open is you have to stand out first. Forget about what great offer you have, what great content you have. We got to get the email opened first. You need to stand out. So when you see something like an emoji, like I'm not putting an emoji, like this example here, right? These guys are selling, what are they selling? They're trying to reach dental hiring managers or whatever. That's a pretty boring audience. You're like, they're putting an emoji? Yeah, why are they putting an emoji? Because it stands out. It stands out. So just because it sounds stupid, like I think about this, right? The Masked Singer, okay? The Masked Singer, I was watching this a couple months ago, The Masked Singer. I'm like, why am I watching this stupid show? This is the dumbest show literally in the history of television. Like, I don't even, and the celebrities that they take off the mask are like, that's not a celebrity. I mean, it's like a has-been. I'm more famous, right? And then you fast forward a few months later and they come out with a spinoff, The Masked Dancer. The dumbest show in television has a spinoff because we are a simple-minded species, okay? And we like shiny objects. And we're like, oh, wow, that's great. And you know what? That's why The Masked Dancer exists. And that is why emojis work. Why do emojis work? Emojis work because we watch The Masked Dancer. It's the same thing, okay? So don't discount it because it's ridiculous. My teenage kids will send me emojis. I don't know what they mean. They're probably cursing me out. But the reality of it is you stick them in your subject line and boom, people open up your emails, okay? What you're looking at here is the last 30 days. These are the emojis that you put in your subject line and it will lift open rates. Okay, why? It's not though you press send, okay, and the guy on the other end or the lady on the other end gets the email and looks in the subject line and goes, oh, look, I see a heart in the subject line. That sounds nice. I'm going to open that. Click. No, that's not what happens. What happens is it stands out, it catches their eye, it's subconscious, and they open it up. Or they see a clock and it dings in their brain. Oh my God, this offer must be time sensitive. And they open it up. Now, anybody here on that's a B2B guy in this thing, you're probably saying to yourself, I can't use an emoji. I'll get fired. That's ridiculous. Call it a business icon, right? If it was called a business icon, you'd be like, oh yeah, I could do that. Why not? Right? And all you guys on the consumer side, you work for, very regulated industries, and I'm in healthcare, I'm in finance, I can't do this. We have brand guidelines. Compliance will never allow this, all this other nonsense, okay? You need to fight those battles internally. Emoji use in email marketing is up 2,000% in the last 12 months. 2,000%. Why? Because it works. Here's an email I got from Domino's. Show them this email if anyone says you're going to get filtered. The entire subject line is emojis. I don't know have a clue what that says. My kids probably do. The entire thing is emojis. You think they're doing that because they're bored? No, they're doing it because it stands out and it works. Why is this all taken off, right? Because in the last year, now 92% of all B2B and B2C email receiving systems can view emojis properly. That's why it's exploded. That's why when you go in your Outlook 365 at work, you can see an emoji. That's why when you go in Gmail, you can see an emoji. So don't discount what I'm saying because it's ridiculous. Okay, it's actually something that can work. And email, by the way, this is all the information you ever want to know about emojis, all these websites. So if you ever need to figure out how to do an emoji, you go back to this deck and you could really have a party, right? Email is all about the little things. It's not as if you're going to go into a meeting, right? And you're like, all right, we did that. Email's cool. We don't have to think about email anymore. That's never going to happen. And when we talk about today, I promise you 12 months from now, totally different webinar about the things that are working 12 months from now. That's always the case. But the game is, we've got to get that email open. So this statement, your email creative is more important than your subject line. I say that's not true. I say that's garbage. Why do I say that's garbage? This is what happens all the time and what I do for a living. Big brands, right? They get their email, they have their offer. We have the greatest offer. We've worked so hard on this offer. Oh, the creative. Oh, our agency did it. Our internal agency did it. So good. Legal has approved it. Compliance has approved it. Great. We finally are ready. They send it over to my team to get it out the door. And we go, okay, what's the subject line? And they go, oh, hold on, blah, 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 blah. And they spend 3 seconds writing a subject line when it should be totally reverse. Because if you can't get that email open, who cares? Who actually cares what your offer is? No one's going to ever see it. Okay, who cares what your creative looks like? No one's going to see it. Who cares about your landing page? So let's focus for a second on what gets the email open. These are the words right now that if you put in your subject line, give you an increased lift in terms of open rate, right? So we already talked about the word free. We know free is great. You're not going to get filtered. If you don't use free, something's wrong with you. But then let's look at the other words that are really the words right now that are driving open rates. And what's interesting about the words, you see tomorrow, 21%, today, 20%, 20% last chance, 18% days left. When you look at this, you actually can see a story. These words, tomorrow, today, last chance, days left, don't miss out, now, final, they literally all say the same thing. And there's a reason for that. What are they all really saying? They're saying, uh-oh, this is urgent, right? They're saying whatever we're promoting may not be here later on. Those are the most other than something being free, the most popular thing is urgency, FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is the key to email marketing. Nobody wants what's always there. We all, as a human being, what do we want? We want the thing that's not always going to be there, right? That's the way it goes. Right? So you get an email and it says, new bathing suits available. Okay. New bathing suits available. Sale ends today. Which one are you going to check out? You're checking out the one that ends today. The number one thing that drives email response rates is having some form of an urgency in the subject line. There is no greater driver of performance. If you are sending out an email, it's not transactional, okay, and it's not a newsletter. If you're sending out an email that has an offer, it must have a sense of urgency. Now you're saying to yourself, well, some of my offers, that's easy. Maybe it expires on Friday. I could do a countdown, 2 days left, last chance. Some of my offers, though, don't. What do? You can still have a form of urgency. Don't miss out. hurry. You're not saying it's ending, okay? But having some form of urgency is going to give you a lift. B2C, 41%, B2B, 47% higher open rate. That is human nature. That is the thing that drives performance. If this email from Neiman Marcus had just said $75 gift card offer, do you think you're more or less likely to open it? As opposed to it saying $75 gift card offer ends in hours. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss it. I gotta open it up. We don't even care what it is. We just don't want to miss it. Now, what's the second thing? The second biggest thing that drives email performance when you have an offer is suspense. People do not utilize suspense enough in email marketing. On the B2B side, it's 32% lift. On the B2C side, 38% lift. Now, what do I mean by suspense? Creating suspense in email is so easy and it works so well, right? Urgency is simple. 2 days left. Okay, last chance. I knew that. That's obvious. But suspense is the thing that kills it right now. This has really been the trend for the last year. So I get this email from Sherwin-Williams, okay? I'm the least manly dude in the planet. Like, you guys are all, kind of Midwest situation. You guys can like fix stuff. I feel like you're like, can do stuff. I'm here in South Florida. I'm this East Coast guy. I can't do anything. I'm the least manly dude on the planet. That's fine. I accept that. I don't even know why I'm on this list for Sherwin-Williams. I barely know that they do paint, but they do. Anyway, so here's the subject line of the email I get. The subject line is the 2021 color of the year is, and then it has ... And you know what? I want to know. I want to know the color of the year. It's created suspense. I want to open this thing up. And somewhere on the other end of this webinar, you're like, I want to know. I want to know the color of the year too. And it worked, right? Boom, bronze. Somewhat deflating. Was thinking it was going to be a primary color. Fine. Go with bronze. But what did they do? They got me to open the email. They won. They got me to open the email. Okay? And you didn't even need urgency to do it. You can create suspense in so many different ways, and it's killing it in email. I got this email from Cranes, the paper company. The subject line literally said there's a surprise inside this email. What could possibly be surprising about people that sell paper? Okay? I don't even know why I cared. Okay? But I opened it because I needed to know. I needed to know what was in the email. And yeah, they're selling me paper. Who cares? But it works. Okay? But suspense is not just the simple, like there's a surprise. Here's an example. This is the subject line. 3 things every marketer should know. I guarantee if everybody here got this, you'd open up this email. What are they? I need to know. Lists. Lists do phenomenal. Okay? Lists. 11 gifts she didn't know she needed. Lists are suspense because it's a list of something and I need to know what's on the list. The other night, I'm watching TV and they're one of these stupid entertainment shows, like, I don't know, Entertainment Tonight or Extra, I don't know what it was. And they had, coming back from commercial, the top 5 outfits from whatever cockamamie event was happening. And I don't care. I don't even know who these celebrities are anymore. The other day, my kid goes, oh, that's Dojo Cat. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. And so I'm like, I want to see who the top 5 people are. Not that I even know who they are anymore. Because it was a list. I need to see who's on it. I didn't even care who made the list. We like lists. Lists are doing better than ever. It's the easiest form of content to create. The 5 reasons that you should use our banking product. Great. What are they? I got to check them out. 22% lift. Another super easy thing to do. You could do this with any offer you have or question-related emails. In the subject line, making it a question. 27% higher lift and average open rate. Why were we all so broken up when Alex Trebek died? Okay? We like Jeopardy. I sit there on the couch with my wife. I've been married 18 years. And God help me, I sit there and in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna impress my wife. I'm gonna answer these questions. They ask the question. I do not get any of them right, ever. And all I do is I let her know, I reinforce how stupid I am. But the bottom line is I don't stop watching it because I like questions and I like answers. And so does everybody else. That's why they work, right? So what is plaguing your security infrastructure? If I'm a security professional, I need to know. But you're opening that up. How well do you know your customers? Oh my God, sweet potato toast. What's it all about? I don't know. I gotta find out about sweet potato toast. Okay? Questions are doing incredibly well. Now you're saying this guy Jay's talking about nothing. I gave up an hour of my day to hear about this nonsense, but this is email. There is no silver bullet. It's a series of very little things that make the difference, right? Look, I showed you this before. Did you notice the 3 dots? Probably not. 3 dots at the end of your subject line. You're like, that can't possibly do anything. When you go back, look at your inbox, look at Amazon's emails. You'll see a bunch of Amazon emails that they send to you where the last thing at the subject line are 3 dots. Why? Subconsciously, it lets us believe that there's more there. Okay, it lets us believe that there's more there. So when I get this email that says just announced ... what is it? I need to know, right? I open that up. 19% average higher open rate when you have ... That's crazy, right? That's crazy talk, right? It's half sentences that get people going. Announcing the most valuable. You're gonna open that up. Half sentences do so well. Have you seen ... Your gift is, the winner is. Half sentences have a 29%, it should be B2B and B2C, 29% higher open rate for both B2B and B2C. This is the easiest test in the world, right? And that's the name of the game today. The name of the game is we rattle off a zillion different ideas, okay? And you test out a bunch. Some are gonna work, some are gonna bomb. But the ones that work, you now have in your arsenal. You can't do it every single time, but now you'll have 3 or 4 or 5 new things that you could use to drive that open rate. So what are other little things that can make a huge difference, right? A huge difference. How about your logo? We never think about our logo, but do you realize that the logo in your emails that you send out get anywhere from 27 to 31% of all the clicks in the messages that you're sending out? Why does your logo go to your homepage? Why do you send the traffic from your logo to anywhere but your destination page? I don't understand what goes on. And here's what drives me completely bonkers. Forget about your transactional emails, forget about your newsletter. When you have an offer of some kind, when you are getting ready to hit send on that offer, what are you hoping? You're hoping that the people that receive it take advantage of that offer. That's the only reason you're sending that email out. That's the goal. And yet, when you send it out, you have links in your email going all over the place. They're going all over your website. They're going to all sorts of foo-foo land. When you have all the primary links in the email, New York Times does a great job of this, all the primary links in your email going to just the offer page, you have a 57% higher overall conversion rate. It's the simplest thing to do. It's what you're trying to do. I'll give you an example, and people will disagree with me on this, but I don't care. Social sharing links. I know your brand guidelines. You have to have your Twitter and your Facebook and your Instagram, those little logos at the bottom of your email and everything you send out. I say, why? Why do that? And I say why for a couple of reasons. Number one, the more links that you have in a message, the greater likelihood is that you can get filtered. That's a fact. Number two, when you have links going somewhere besides your offer destination page, what happens? They might actually click on them, and then they'll never come back to that email. And number three, have you ever in your life gotten an email and said, oh, this email's awesome. I'm going to share this on Instagram? Who does that? Have you ever heard of a human being doing that? That's weird. So what is the point? Why do we have all these conduits to other places, right? Focus in and let's get that response. It's that simple. So what other little things can make a big difference? Brackets. I love brackets. Yay, brackets. Brackets and parentheses in the subject line. So simple. Increases open rates by 31%. B2B and B2C. Why? You carve out that offer like you see here at the beginning of your subject line. You carve it out and the person could zone in, be like, all right, this is about a webinar. Oh, Bed Bath & Beyond has an announcement. It carves it out. You see it. It stands out. Boom. You get an open. This is a great test. It costs you nothing. It costs you the time it takes to make a parentheses, which is about 4 seconds if you're really slow. Okay? It's that easy. What other stuff can make a difference? You're like, really? This can make a difference? That's weird. Title casing. Capitalizing the first letter of every word in your subject line. Yes, by the time you're done with me, you're going to have the most incoherent subject line you could possibly imagine. But why? It stands out. Go to a party and tell somebody, hey, by the way, did you know that if you title case your subject line, you'll get a higher open rate? They will think you're the world's biggest nerd. And they might be right. I told my wife this. She says, you need a new job. But guess what? This is the type of stuff that works. Okay, this works. What else works? Well, guess what? We are all incredibly boring, right? We think that the email copy that we write is like the greatest thing of all time. No one cares. People are barely opening up our emails. Barely like, oh, I'll open it. And they half regret it after they do. And then do you ever get like a text from like a friend or a relative and it's like a big block of text? Like my mom will do that. She'll send me a big block of text. I'm like, I am going to look at this later. I definitely did something wrong and I'll find out what it was later. I don't have time for that. When you get an email and you see a big block of text, nobody wants to respond. Get rid of it. It's homework. Who needs it? Over 50 words in a single paragraph leads to a 34% lower click-through rate because it's annoying. Nobody cares, right? Okay, more crazy stuff. I get asked all the time about the length of the subject line. How many characters should it be? Should it be this many characters? Gonna get cut off? What's it all about? I don't really like talking about character limit because a lot of times, believe it or not, you could have a super long subject line that does really, really well. What I do believe and what numbers do prove out is where you're putting your offer in the subject line. So for example, with Old Navy over here, it says subject lines are best-selling women's everyday short, cuts off. The offer is actually 60% off, but you don't see it, it's at the end. And the game here is we need to have our offer, always have your offer mentioned in the first 50% of your subject line. That's the rule. I don't get into how many characters because I think that's a waste of energy. Okay, the first 50% of your subject line has your offer in it. You'll have a 37% higher open rate than if it's in the second half. I can't take it when you have an offer. It's a great offer, and you say, and it's 50% off. What? Nobody's going to see that. Not only might it get cut off, nobody's reading that far. It's very boring. We're all very boring, right? So 50%, first 50% of your subject line, get your offer in there. Something that's doing really well, countdown clocks, animated GIF countdown clocks. Okay, quick thing, animated GIF countdown clocks increased click-through rate by 22%. Sending out animated GIFs in emails is not a problem, not in any email client, okay? It is not a problem. An animated GIF is simply just 3 or 4 images tied together. Very different than video. Embedding video in your email will get you filtered. Bad idea, okay? So animated GIF, good. Video, bad. Countdown clock, great. Great. Let's talk about a few more things. All right, let's talk about a few more things. I got this email the other day. I couldn't believe this. This drove me bananas. I just thought this was so funny. So I got this email promoting the Experiential Marketing Training Camp Week. I'm like, all right, I'm all about the experience. I'm going to check this out. So I click on the email. I just was like, are you kidding me? And this is what happened. I click on this email and it takes me to this landing page, which is horribly ugly to begin with, but that's beside the point. I just wanted to register. I'm like, okay, there's no form here, but I found the link. Okay, I click register now. And then it takes me to this weird page, okay? And I'm like, wait a minute, I just want to register. I had to find another link. I found this link. It takes me here. No idea what this page is. I mean, whatever. I had to find another link. And it took me to this form. If I lost my passport, I don't think the form would be as long as the form that they ultimately have here for me to fill out. Okay? Do you know this is the Experiential Marketing Training Camp. This is the worst experience I could possibly imagine. I thought this was like, I thought I was being like, punked or something. I'm like, come on. This is the worst experience I've ever had trying to sign up for something. The moral of the story is, every additional step you make somebody take, you will lose between 20 to 25% of your respondents. So when you take somebody to a page, you're like, not a big deal. Just got to do one more click. They'll sign up. Not a big deal. That's not true. People barely care about you. They definitely don't care. They opened up your email like, I'll check it out. They're like, should I click? They click. Then they really don't care. They get to the page, you're like, all right, fine, I'll register. If you ask them to do one more thing, like, screw this, I'm out of here, right? Do not think that they're invested in the process. Every additional must step is brutal. It is brutal for them. And this is the worst, right? All right, let's talk about this last topic. So this is important, right? Somebody goes and they sign up for something. They give their email address to your organization. They've bought something. They subscribe for something. They've given you their email address at some point. Now they just entered into your system. And what do? You guys all send out, thank you very much for signing up. You send them a thank you note, an autoresponder. You're like, cool, sent an autoresponder. We're on our way. Great. Okay. It's so much more than that. And we're all screwing it up so badly. And I want to explain why. I just want to take a minute to talk about this. that email that you send out, that first email that you send out to that person, the first time you send them an email is by far the most important email you will ever send them. And it's not about establishing your look and feel and all this other nonsense or anything like that. That's not what it is. So I sign up on Domino's, okay? I like pizza. I get an email, it says, welcome to the Domino's Pizza Pie Rewards Program. The problem with this email is I don't open it up because I know I just signed up. I don't need to open this up for them to say thank you. So why does that matter? Why is that a big deal? I sign up with USA Today, okay? And then I get this email, thanks for registering, but I don't open it up. Why does that matter? Here's why it matters, and this stat is hard to kind of digest. When I go to your site and I sign up for something, whether it's B2B or B2C, right? I sign up, you send me your auto email. That first time I get an email from your IP address, that first time is the first time I get an email from your domain as a sender. Right? It gets to my Gmail account. Gmail is looking at this situation, go, uh-oh, is Jay gonna open it? If Jay opens up this email from a sender he's never gotten an email from before, he's never gotten one before, but he opens it up. What Gmail is saying is, hey, Jay likes this company. In the future, let's make sure his emails stay in the inbox because he opened up that first email. Now, I don't open up that first email. What happens? Over time, you start to get a negative rating as a sender, and now you go into the junk folder. The likelihood of staying in the inbox increases by 87% if you can get that first email open that you send. 87%. So the game is, you're not just saying thank you when you send that email. You need to say thank you, but in the subject line, you need to have the most aggressive, fantastic post-registration email. It needs to be so damn exciting that they open it. They need to open it up, right? So when I get the thing from Shutterfly, it says, Jay, we have a special thank you gift for you. Okay, I'm opening that up, right? What if you got the subject line after you signed up with Domino's Pizza, it said thank you and ... I think I'm getting free pizza. I'm opening it up, registered, and then it says just for you, ... Here's the next step, ... What is it? Get that email open. It's going to dictate for all time whether or not you stay in that inbox, right? Because you're going to bang your head against the wall. You're going to fast forward 6 months and be like, why are my open rates so low? Why are they so low? They're so low because they're not getting to where they need to be. All right. It's the simplest thing that you could do to ensure future performance. Wow, we just jumped up and down for a while here. Let me tell you a few free things. If there are any questions, we can do that later too. So first off, my company puts out a calendar. It's a digital calendar. It used to be hard copy, but we're nowhere anymore, right? So it's the best and worst days to send out email. We do B2B and B2C. Green days are days that are really good for performance. Red days are days that are bad for performance. We take into account every holiday, every trend, everything. We just updated as of June 1st to account for things opening back up and what's working, what's not working. If you'd like a copy of the calendar, totally free, you can email me at jays@corpwd.com. That's my email address. And if you want the slides, you can hit me up. I will send them to you. My company's website, we have a lot of other webinars, information, stuff that we do. World Data, it has 1D, World Data with 1D, if that's of any interest. I have a newsletter I put out every 2 weeks. No spam, no promotion. It's like lines of text that I write about different trends, stats, whatever. It's called Scoop. You can either email me and say, add me to Scoop, or you go to my horribly long name and you can sign up there. It's totally free as well. So that's kind of cool. People like it. Subjectline.com, I mentioned that earlier. That's a division of my company. Again, another free tool for the industry. We're approaching our 11 million subject line checked. You put your subject line in there. It tells you how good or bad it is, how it will do. It's kind of cool. And Instagram and Twitter. We post a lot of our stats, a lot of our information there. Again, World Data with 1D. That is my email address. We did it. We've solved all the world's problems. And I will eventually take my first breath of the day.